May 13, 2020 meeting of the monthly Board of Public Works and Safety. Our agenda's a little mixed up today. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll let Mrs. Hayes take her seat, and then we'll...
Thank you. We'll see.
Could we have roll call, please?
Jerry Wise.
Jerry is here via speakerphone.
Present.
Ted Baker.
Present.
And Linda Gregory.
Present. I'd like to begin with this morning. Last week we opened bids, and there was a question about one that we knew had intended to bid. Later in the day, that packet was found. It was received in an appropriate, timely fashion. So it will be opened now and added to the ones from last week for consideration. So, Mr. Baker, would you open that bid, please?
Sure. I have it here.
Can you wait, can I speak before you open that, please? Under the,
Please, yeah.
My name is Audie Barber. Under the Chapter 14 of the Procurement Act, this bid cannot be opened at this time. In that, let me see if I can find it real quick. According to the rules and regulations, all bids will be publicly opened at the time and place prescribed in the invitation for bids. That's out of order. That should not be open. That needs to be sent back. Either that or the whole process needs to start all over.
Thank you for your comment.
But according to the law of the Chapter 14 of the procurement under the bid process or the monies from the federal government, it will be open to the day prescribed.
Thank you for your comment. Would you please open the bid?
Sure. You're gonna open it anyhow?
Okay, this bid has been received from AAMR, is that the right? AAMR of Indiana for $97,400.
Thank you.
And should we make the comment that, again, that this bid was received in time and through no fault of the company, it was an
Or the
error.
Board of Works.
Or the Board of Works, it was an error within the mail system here due to some of the challenges that are faced here with the COVID-19 situation.
I'm Gretchen Cheeseman, Director of Community Development, and this is the lowest bid for the asbestos abatement of all the bids that you opened last week and this one. I'd like a chance to review it, and then if the bid's complete, then I'd like to ask at the end of the meeting that you award the contract.
Thank you. You want to come and collect this one, and we will either hear you or continue to have these four bids under advisement.
Who is that with? Please.
Who is it with?
AAMR of Indiana.
AAMR of Indiana.
Can we have my name is Audie Barber. Can we have a little bit more of just AAMR, who this company is?
No, 'cause we didn't do that with any of the other bidders.
That's just the name that was on it.
That is a public document then, right? I'd like a copy of it.
Then you can apply through the clerk's office after.
So you guys just think that because this bid was here somewhere,
It was
that
in the
it's-
clerk's office.
that it is permittable to open it because it was not open on the same day the other bids
Correct.
are?
It was there, and it was documented that it was received in time.
But that doesn't matter. According to the rules and regulations, you will
Mr.
open them at
Barber,
the
we've
same
addressed
time.
that. Could you please take your seat?
You will open them at the
Seat.
same time that the other bids are open, or it will be sent back, period. Now, all of a sudden, you got your fourth bid that was laying over here in this office, and now it's the low bid?
It just wasn't laying in the
Please,
office.
please have a seat.
It was laid in the office.
Please have a seat.
Once again, I feel that this bid should be sent back. I have no quorums with the way the bids are to be opened properly, but this is an improper action taken by the Board of Works. And I will do what I need to do to make sure it does not happen again. Because now the fourth bid that was laying in somebody's office is the low bid. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, one other bit of prior business I feel we need to take care of. At the beginning of the pandemic, self-distancing efforts, this board was not meeting either in public or via Zoom. And our procedure at that point was for Mr. Conway to distribute electronically the claims for the week. The 3 board members reviewed them, and then I approved payment. I would like to have a motion to ratify those 2 sets of claims dated March 25 and April 1 that were done outside a Zoom meeting. So if I could have that motion, please?
Sure, I'd make a motion to accept those claims.
I second it.
Thank you. And this is again ratification of the claims that have already been approved and paid. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Now then, register of claims for today.
Excuse me, can I interject here for a second? Does anybody know where the rest of the bids are from last week?
No.
Right?
You have them, are they upstairs in your office? Can I, okay, I'm gonna run up and look at those. No, I don't think, are they someplace where I can just grab them? Sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Conway?
Good morning, Trent Conway, City Controller. The only claim that I want to bring to the board's attention on this week is on page 8, bottom of page 8. It's a rather large claim, $379,000. This was PP&E for the fire department, and they had an additional appropriation approved by City Council earlier this year for this purchase.
Where is that? Oh, I see it.
Bottom of
Okay, I
page
got
8.
it.
Yep.
I got it.
And again, Trent, could you explain what this was for?
Personal protective equipment
Okay.
for the fire department.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, Linda, what was that for? 9,000 for what?
It was $379,610 for PPEs for the fire department.
Gotcha.
Good.
PTEs, what's that?
Personal protective equipment.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Mr. Baker, do you have any comments?
I just had a couple questions, I think. I think it's to note that this is the time of the month that we received those unemployment claims. And those unemployment claims equaled $11,362 total.
Yep.
That's unfortunately the cost of doing business, right?
And how many more months of that do we have?
You can claim 6 months within a 12-month period, so at least probably 2 or 3, and it depends on when people start their claim.
Right, okay. Mr. Baker,
It's just kind of an outlier, and I'm just not sure, but there was a rather large Indiana Michigan Power bill in there. Is that a normal monthly?
It is.
I couldn't recall, and I just thought I'd ask that.
Yep, that one is.
38,000 plus.
Yep.
So that's just a once a month then?
Yep.
Okay. And there, everything seems to be, nothing seems to be odd. I noticed that I didn't see any 2019 bills.
oh, there are some.
Oh, I guess
There are
I
a
just
few.
missed those.
Animal shelter.
Okay. That's probably where.
Yeah, since we're on that, I'll just go ahead and do my questions. I did note the unemployment there.
Yep,
There is a zero claim on page 1. So did that get shoved to Board of Works?
Yes, that
Okay.
one did, yep. And that'll
Right.
be, that's part of what's getting fixed, with the ordinance that's going before council.
Okay. Then there's also a zero balance on page 3 for the animal shelter. And the other comment was at the bottom of page 3, probably, I don't know, 12, 15 bids from, or claims from July through
yes.
February.
I did have that marked. Again, more 2019.
Yes.
Yep.
And all-
I did have those marked. I didn't realize it.
And pretty, well, so I don't know whether that's an issue with the vendors or with whoever's doing animal control claims.
Yep,
If it's on the processing end, then I would encourage the administration to beat the bushes a little bit on that, make sure we get those in, because I really don't like dragging those on 6 to 8 months later. I
Right.
think that sets a
Nope.
very bad precedent.
you're right. I think,
And it's not good vendor relations. I don't like the city having a reputation for not paying their bills on time.
yep, I don't either.
Okay, Jerry, do you have any comments or questions on the register of claims?
No, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay, I'd make a motion to accept the register of claims.
I second it.
okay, anything else? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, moving on to unfinished business.
And Linda, may I request that we need to approve the minutes from last week?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes. I didn't get minutes from last week.
They came yesterday.
I didn't see them.
Okay.
But if you'd like to make a motion to approve.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve the minutes from the May 6th meeting.
I second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments about any of them?
Do I need to sign that, or have they already been signed?
We haven't signed, we won't do that till the end of the meeting, and you can do that the next time either we meet or let's just say the next time we meet in person, you can do any signatures that need to be made.
Okay.
Okay.
So all those in favor of approving last week's minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now then. We've already accepted the abatement quote, the opening of that. Is there anything on the Salvation Army? I'm assuming not at this point, okay? New business. We have a series of bids to open for the demolition of the Red Carpet Inn. Do you have those ready, Mr. Baker?
I have 5 sealed bids.
And are we confident that that's all of them? Okay, please proceed. Jerry, Ted's gonna open and read the bid.
Gotcha.
Since he's sitting far away from me and it's logistically, this makes sense.
Okay.
It's sealed very well.
If
Okay.
nothing else, we've learned to adapt.
That's right. The first one, a contractor's bid for Public Works for this project, it comes from, let's see, from Schroyer Brothers Incorporated. And the bid is for $163,720. And is that all I need to say, Brian? Okay.
Just leave them
Yeah,
stacked
I
there.
don't want them to fall down, that's all. The second one, is from O'Rourke Wrecking Company. for $288,000. The third one comes from Complete Demolition Services, and it is for $143,000.
Who is that from?
Complete Demolition Services.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
The fourth one comes to us from Renascent, Renascent, Renascent Incorporated, for $154,000. Renascent is listed as an Indianapolis address. I'd never heard of it, that's why I mentioned that. And then, and again, these are just being opened at this time. They will be reviewed and such. And then, the next one is from Denny Excavating Incorporated for $202,762. Those are the 5 bids that have been opened.
Okay, we will take those under advisement, and Mr. Stevens Hochep will be bringing us a decision, I assume, next week or at a following meeting. Thank you. Next on the agenda is a contract with Merchant McIntyre.
Good morning, Trent Conway, City Controller again. So this is a contract between Merchant McIntyre, ECI, Delaware County, and the City of Muncie. So Merchant McIntyre is stationed in Washington, D.C., and they'll be acting as an advocate for us to look into federal grants. They'll help us put the grant together and help us pretty much with all the facets of getting those grants. So the city will be paying $30,000, Delaware County will be paying $30,000 to ECI, and then ECI will be paying Merchant McIntyre on their own.
Okay. Is this a new contract? Is it a renewal of an existing?
This is a new contract.
New contract.
Yep. And will be paid out of the edit funds.
Okay, that was going to be my question. Okay, well, I would, in order to make a motion to accept this MOU, this bid.
I second it.
Mr. Mayor Ridenour, do you wish to speak on this one at all? No? Okay.
I have had some dealings with Merchant McIntyre just peripherally, and I know that they're a stellar organization. And from what I know, the return on investment with them is significant. And I applaud the mayor and this administration for reaching out into Washington, D.C., especially now with COVID funds floating around. I think it's imperative that we have some representation of someone in D.C. actually feeling what's happening there and what's available. I know for a fact we don't hear everything here. And it is high time that we receive our share of federal funds coming back to this community. So I think this will be a good investment. That's just my 2 cents worth.
Okay. Mr. Baker, or Mr. Wise, do you have any comments?
No comments.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, we have a memorandum of understanding between the City of Muncie and the Sanitary District.
Brian Stevens Hotop, City Engineer. This is a memorandum of understanding between the City of Muncie that is doing some street work along Monroe Street and the Muncie Sanitary District, which needs to install some sanitary sewer along that same stretch. The intent of this is to combine their improvements into our project, and then they would be providing all the funding and reimbursement to the city for the cost of their portion of the project. The MOU has already gone before the Muncie Sanitary District Board and been approved, so I just ask that this board approve it as well.
It's actually working together.
Yep. And there's some exhibits if you're trying to figure out where things are, but it's on Monroe Street, north of Washington and south of Gilbert.
Okay. Great, thank you. Who spearheaded this? Very good, thank you very much. I might make a motion to accept this MOU.
Second it.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of approving this MOU with Sanitary District?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And now we have another MOU with the Town of Yorktown and E&B Paving.
Yes, so this is, the town of Yorktown is doing some paving projects. Some of the work that they are doing is along River Road. So while E&B has been mobilized and is out there, the city of Muncie would like to partner with Yorktown and have E&B continue to do the resurfacing work along River Road into the city of Muncie and extend their work east of Morrison all the way to Hawthorne Road. So this is essentially a document that allows Yorktown to get reimbursed by the city of Muncie using E&B as their contractor. The estimated cost of this work is $26,000, which would come out of the wheel tax fund of the street department.
The what fund again?
Wheel tax?
Wheel
Okay.
tax.
Okay.
It's a little hard to be
It's
clear.
hard to hear with
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay, so I'd make a motion to accept this bid, this MOU.
I second.
Thank you. Any comment or questions?
How did this come about?
I have
We found
I have
out
a
that they were
question.
doing the work.
Just a minute, Jerry.
We found out that they were doing work in the area. We reached out to them. They were open to us doing it, so we had kind of initiated it. But we looked at the pricing that they had secured, and we wanted to move forward with it.
Okay.
Jerry?
Brian, do you know how far Yorktown, I've got Muncie's section from Hawthorne to Morrison. Do you know how far Yorktown's gonna take it?
I don't. It's one of the larger sections of roadway that they're working on. This was part of a very large contract where they did multiple road sections, but I don't have the kind of beginning end limits of River Road within Yorktown.
Gotcha. I mean, it doesn't affect us, but I still would like to know. I'll find out.
Okay. Any further comment or question on this MOU? Jerry, can you mute? Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Do we, Ms. Cheeseman, do we have a decision?
You've already taken the demolition bids under advisement, I presume?
Yes,
Okay.
we did.
Well, the low bid is not, all the paperwork is not there, and the next lowest bid also has the same problem. So I'm going to ask the board to reject all of these bids and requote it.
Okay. So it all worked out.
Thank you, Gretchen.
Mr. Baker, would you make that motion?
I make a motion that we reject the bids for the asbestos removal.
I second it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Anything else to come before the board today?
Sorry about that.
Excuse me. Once again, my name's Audie Barber. You've got these quotes on these bids for the demolition of Red Carpet Inn on South Madison Street. Is that federal money or city money? Combination of both. So that is going to be Davis-Bacon with certified.
It is not.
You're using federal money on it, but you're not going to.
Demolition, not in anticipation of new construction.
Demolition, not anticipation for new construction, so you don't have to use Davis-Bacon on it, even though it's federal money.
Correct.
Okay, I'll look into that one, but. And also, I just wanted to find out if there is a conflict of interest with Ms. Cheeseman that has been filed because of her involvement with Schroyer Excavating.
What's my involvement with Schroyer Estimating?
You'll need to use the mic.
What is my involvement with Schroyer?
I believe at one time you worked for them, didn't
I did some work for them, but it was
you?
it was 3 years ago.
It doesn't matter, it's still.
You need to use the mic.
It doesn't matter. You still did work for them. They are bidding on the jobs. You have to have written paperwork on file. Excuse me, I still get nervous up here, no matter how many times I've been up here. Conflict of interest on file, and you do not have it this time.
Okay, Ms. Cheeseman, if you would file that,
I'll get
please.
some advice on that.
Thank you. With the understanding that filing it doesn't mean that her ability to make a decision is at all restricted.
Okay.
Okay, anything else to come before us today? I would like to raise or get some discussion on whether we feel we need to do in-person meetings on the days when we do not have bids to open, or even if we do. Any feeling from anybody?
You know, I think we are going to go about doing the city's business no matter how we do it. Both ways have worked so far. I think it's a matter of how this board feels as far as safety and the safety of our citizens and for the employees. So it's just a matter of, at this point, would you agree that's a matter of safety at this time?
Yeah.
And so I really think that has to matter the most, but I can do either way.
Mr. Barber, do you want to speak for the public?
Yes, I commend you guys for being the first to come back after this COVID-19 stuff has started, and I appreciate the public meetings. I think that the public meetings are needed, and I think that we are all educated enough about the COVID virus that we can still have our public meetings and everybody be safe. And once again, I do want to thank you guys for having this meeting today, being the first one in the city to come back to a public meeting. Thank you.
You know, I think it's very interesting because as I have observed, and that is that everyone who has come to the podium has all touched the podium in the same place as everybody else has. Yeah, and so my point is, as good as we think we are, there's a risk factor there, to say the least. We can wear these all we want. I'm just saying, so those are the things that we all have to consider. And so I'm good either way. You know, if we just wipe those down each time, or however. But I'm just bringing it to light. So.
Well, I wanted a bit of discussion about it. Do either of you want to make a comment?
Brian Stevens, HOTOP City Engineer. I think we could, if there's a desire from the board, we could try to consolidate our business into, reducing the number of in-person meetings. Ms. Cheeseman and myself, neither of us have any bid openings for the next several weeks. If there was something to come up that was maybe more pertinent for public discussion, we could try to have an in-person meeting. I guess I want to say that we could try to reduce the number of discussion items for those meetings not held as public meetings if that was desired.
Well, I just wanted some discussion. I don't want to make a decision today. I think it's always more desirable to conduct public business in a public setting where the public can be present, even if it's only one public. So I guess I would like to continue, and if today is any example, we've been able to maintain appropriate distancing. We are checked when we come in the building. I feel a little more comfortable about that, but on the other hand, I'm one of that group that is vulnerable. So I guess my take is that we should continue to try to meet until such time as that seems inappropriate. If we can maintain this kind of distance and this kind of setup, I guess I'm willing to continue. Besides going to the grocery store once a week, this will be my one outing. At this rate, my tank of gas that I bought 2 or 3 weeks ago could last well into August, so, because I drive a Prius, so.
Oh, my.
With that, Jerry, do you have any comments?
No, I have to unmute.
Okay. With that, we will continue to meet until we feel like that's not necessary, or that it's too much of a risk.
Okay.
Right now, it's a little risky, but I think we can manage.
Okay.
If we get 50 people in here, then we'll reassess, but.
We just won't be able to.
Yeah, that would be a phenomenon, and it would probably indicate some kind of issue that I don't want to deal with. So let us continue, and if we're not going to meet, we'll try to make it enough notification to the public so that maybe we can come up with another way to solicit public input if we decide to go back to Zoom meetings. But if we can handle this with the amount of risk that we have right now, I'd like to continue. Okay?
Okay.
All right then. Thank you all for being here or being here virtually. We appreciate your input. Thank you. We are adjourned.